Wait for some people to pop on. There we go. Hey, Marcelina. You're the first one on. See, so I get to say hi to you and call out your name. It's good to see you. Hey, guys. Hey, Anthony. Tell me where everybody is. I want to know where everybody is. Hello there, sir. The good Reverend Doctor. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Devontae, are you going to bed? You said night. Are you going to bed? Where are you? Are you like in England? Hey, Anthony. It's good to see you. So we're talking about writing books today. I've been talking about books all day. Hey, Carolyn, how are you? And so I'm going to finish up with this Facebook Live, and then I am going to go get my life together. Hey, Michelle. Michelle ain't Shelly Young. Oh, you're in Kentucky. So is Kentucky Eastern time? Hey, Robin. Did you know I used to live in Bolingbrook? I used to live in Bolingbrook. Yes, way back in the day. Hey, Busy, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the thumbs up. If you could take a minute to share the broadcast to anybody in your community that you think might be interested in writing a book, that would be great. Some parts. Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, I gotcha. Hey, Kirk. Hey, Lawrence Lilly. How are you? That's a great name. I like Lawrence Lilly. There's another guy that pops on all the time. Hey, Chi-Town. Pam, I'll be in Chicago this weekend. I am at the Limitless Conference. Limitless for Women Conference. Hey, Tangela. How are you? I'm good, Carolyn. Thank you. So I'm talking about critical questions you need to ask yourself if you're interested in writing a book. And I actually have 10, but I think I'm going to only go through 5 because 10 is a lot. Hey, Kirk. Good to see you. So how many on have actually written a book or you're interested in writing a book? Hey, Vernester, how are you? Thank you for all the cute emojis. I appreciate it. Oh, Robert. What part of St. Louis? I'm originally from St. Louis. Believe it or not. Hey, Brian. You scared me. Brian like popped up. Hey, Brian. Hey, James. How are you? So we're talking about questions, and I'm trying to get a poll for how many people you wrote 2. Good for you, Kirk. If you've either written a book or you're considering writing a book. So you're interested in writing a book. Okay, Anthony. So really, these are questions that you should ask yourself before the first book especially, but even before any book. Oh, okay, I graduated from Webster Groves High School in St. Louis County. Well, you're in St. Louis County too. You're not really in the city. That's not the real city. So, hey, Kevin, how are you? So the first question you need to ask yourself is whether or not you want to self-publish or you want to go through a traditional publisher. Hey, Andre, what's your book about? And you really need to know that pretty early on. You have 3 of mine, Carolyn. You better get to work. And you need to know that pretty early on because, one, your timelines are going to drip. Yeah, we're the Webster Groves Statesman. That's right. Because your timelines are going to differ drastically, right? So if you want to self-publish, then you are really firmly in control of everything, including the timeline. Refer them on. That's awesome. If you go with a traditional publisher, you could be looking at 16 months out. Hey, Frank, from the time you actually publish your book. So, for the time you actually write your book. So, yeah, trust the tingles, girl. I always do. That's the best thing, the tingles. I love it. And so if you're interested in getting this book out quickly, then you need to consider self-publishing. Hey, Nia, I'm great. How are you? If you're interested in going through a traditional publisher, then you really just need to time it out so that time makes sense for you. But like I said, you lose a lot of control when you decide to go with a traditional publisher. Now, of course, you get the benefit of them paying for everything, even though they do recoup their money before they pay you. But, they control all of the upfront money for the editor, for the graphic design, for all of that kind of stuff. Whereas if you self-publish, that's all on you. But also when you self-publish, all the profits are on you too. And so you don't have to split that or wait for the publishing company to recoup. Is that your next, is that the name of your next book, Knowing, Andrea? Or is there something I'm missing? So the other thing, and this kind of goes with the self-publishing or traditional publishing, but more so with the traditional. If you go with a traditional publisher, then you need to try to figure out if you can sell the book yourself, or if you can, or if you need to get a literary agent, and that's important too. Most of the big publishing companies nowadays, oh, no, I got you. Oh, that's the name of the next one. I like it, Andrea. I love titles. Titles will get me before I even know what the book is about. I just love great titles. The agent will get a proceed of the royalties, but they also have the relationships with the people at the publishing companies that you may not have. So it's really hard to, unless you have some huge platform or you're a celebrity, all of that. It's really hard to get your book into a publishing company like Random House or Penguin or one of those without having a literary agent. So just think about that. But the literary agent is going to get a percentage of the monies that you're going to get for the book, but sometimes it's better to have to give 10% or whatever. Usually agents, it just depends. Usually it's between like 16, around 16%, 20%. Hey Rocky, how are you? Hey Jerome, good to see you. So it's a normal percentage. I mean, I think it's fair. I'm not an agent, but I think it's fair. I've had an agent, and I always thought it was fair because I'm not talking publishing books. I want to live with you over there. Can you allow me? Do what? Hey, Carl. You want to do what? See, the dog is not even happy about that whole thing. I don't even know what that's about. You also need to decide like what the book's hook is. This is a big thing. Now we're going to start talking about the actual book. Like what is the book's, I'm glad, Rocky. It's good to see you as always. Max is having a fit. I'm trying to figure out, I don't even know why he's having, stop it, Max. Stop. What the book's hook is and why it's going to be different, than any other book that may be in this. What are you doing? You can't sit there and bark. Come on. Come on. Are you gonna come up or no? Lord Jesus. It's like having a child. Okay, this is Max. Everybody say hi, Max. Hey, Drea, how are you? Yeah, so the hook is huge. You really have got to know why this book is going to be different or special or what's going to make it, important. So the hook is important, and I like to know. There's a few things I like to know. I know Max is. He's just like any other 3-year-old. It's like he knows you're important, you're doing other important things, and so he's just got to be in the middle of the mix. Yeah, start writing your book. So I like to know my title. Andrea says hi. I like to know my title and I like to know my hook. Titles are really just big to me. I think a title can sell, thank you, Robert. I think a title can sell a book faster than the content can sell a book if you find the right title. So titles are really important. So I like to know the title and I like to know the hook. The other thing that's important about the hook is it's really important, like if you're looking for a publicist, if you're looking for a publisher, I mean, like everybody wants to know what's going to sell this book. So you really have to be very focused on that as well. I know a lot of us just want to, thanks for Nestor. I think a lot of us just want to write the book and that's great. But we have to also know what the end game is. We also have to know like what the result of this is going to be and what our goals are for the book. I mean, books really are a business. They're not just, he's a hot mess. Books really are a business. And so you really have to be very focused on, all of the particulars and not just writing the book. He's going to be ready to go in a minute. I'm telling you. So that's the next thing. You really have to be, hey, Alonzo, how are you? I am well, thank you. You have to realize what the goals are. So what are you writing the book for? Like most of the people that I write books for, it's because they want to build something based on the book. So they're focused on getting more clients. They want another stream of revenue. They want more speaking engagements. They want to be seen as an expert. Are book signings really beneficial towards sales? Okay, I'll answer that in just a second because that's a great question. Hey, Travis. And so you just have to really be clear about what your goals are. Now, I have some people that want to write a book, and this was true with my dad and my uncle, even though I think that I'm going to actually publish the book. But my dad and my uncle really wanted to write a book about their father because they had learned so much from their father, and they thought he had really good ideals and, characteristics that really translated into them raising great children, me being one of them. and then us raising great children, my children being, and so they really wanted to kind of create this legacy about my grandfather so that generations, to come can learn from what he taught everybody. So they wanted it just for that reason. But I think that it would be beneficial if we do it right for other people outside of our family to learn about it too. So that's the other thing. You want to figure out like what format your book is going to be. Like if you want paperback, you want hardcover, if you want just on Kindle, whatever, that's also a good thing too. How much time, this is another question, how much time you're going to commit, not just to writing the book, but also to how, what the time is going to be to promoting the book, to building your platform so that you can sell the book. I always suggest that 6 months out, if you have not built a solid platform already, that you start working on building that platform and engaging people around the content of your book. Hey, Gerd, how are you? Oh, from Germany. Thanks for joining us. And so those are like the really big things. I forgot the question. You asked me a really good question. Ask me the question again. Oh, are book signings really beneficial towards sales? Thank you. You just want to tell a nonfiction story for young professionals. Well, I think that's great. So you know what your goal is. So book signings, I think, are really beneficial for sales if, how is the pricing determined? Okay, I'll answer that in a minute. I think book signings really are beneficial for sales because at a book signing, people are really coming for the experience. They're not just coming because they want to buy a book. So they can buy a book on Amazon. They can just walk into Barnes & Noble and buy a book. They come to book signings because they want to have that experience. So if you work on really creating an experience for your reader, when you start to develop your fan base, fans will know what they get from you. And so there are certain authors that no matter what, if they're nearby, like Bernice McFadden is one, like she creates an experience for her readers. And so it's about more than just going to buy a book. The other thing, especially for self-published authors, is you can kind of hike your price up a little bit when you're doing a book signing, because like I said, people are coming more for the experience than they are for the actual book. They're coming to take a picture with you. They want to take the selfies, which is great promotion for you because then you end up on everybody's Facebook page. They want to get your autograph. I mean, it really is an experience. So, that's why I like themed book signings sometimes. So like, when you get wine, I mean, they do the whole thing. It's like a really great experience, especially when you write a novel. Okay, Max is ready to go. You ready to go? Hey, I'm ready to go. Say bye-bye. So especially when you write a novel, because then, there's a theme to the book. So I love book signings. So if you're a self-published author, then you really can price your own book. And so I price it one way on Amazon. And like I said, sometimes I'll price it a little bit higher for book signings in person because you really are giving the experience. So you can really determine, but I would do some market research and make sure that you're not pricing it too high. Because once people see a certain price, then they kind of go with that. And so if you're like $19.99 and everybody else is $12.99, you might not sell your book, especially as a new author. So you definitely want to be careful about that. Let's see. There's lots of questions today. Are ebooks selling more? So should that be a writer's focus, ebooks? I don't know if it should be your focus because I think it's just as easy to create a hardback or a softback as it is an ebook. So I always say you should give everybody the option of what they want to buy. So like for me, and Kindle has really come up with a great thing called Matchbook. So if you buy the hard copy or the softback or whatever it is that you're buying, the actual physical copy, then they'll give you a better price on Kindle if you want to buy both. So some people like me, if I really like a book, I'm going to buy both. Because I want the Kindle when I travel, but I like having books in my hand. So I don't think that ebooks necessarily do better, but I think you should give everybody an option for what they want. So Pacino wants to know if there's a strong market for children's books. I think there is a strong market for children's books. I think that the key with children's books, if you're talking about like making money, I think the key is to create a series. I think that most of the young adult fiction and children's books, they love it. Like when they find a book, they want another one. And so to have a series of books, you're going to have like a built-in audience once it catches on. Now, if you just have one in you, then I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm just saying I think for revenue, having a series usually works out better, even for adult books, but especially for kids. Hey, Mr. Williams, how are you? Oh, you're welcome, Keisha. No problem. The experience is, yeah, and all need to show up for it. Yeah, absolutely. I love book signings. And because a lot of my books are nonfiction, I try to make it a book signing, but then give it more. So even like doing a mini workshop to get people in there and they can attend for buying a book, things like that. I mean, I think that you need to kind of make it fun, interact, have people there, enjoy themselves, yada, yada, yada. But book signings, like I said, are really about the experience and not so much about buying a book. Because if it was just about buying a book, people would sit in the comfort of their living room and wait for Amazon to deliver it. So that is it. So those are some of the top things. Some other things you might want to consider if you just want a book, because I have people that no worries. I have people that just want to have a book. So they're like an expert, or they have a business and they know that that book will give them credibility. So some people look to get a ghostwriter instead of writing the book themselves, and that's perfectly fine. There's a lot of great ghostwriters out there. I have 2 on my staff that are phenomenal, and I've ghostwritten too. It's perfectly fine if you just want that book for what it's going to do for your business. That's fine. I mean, some people are writers and they just like to write, and some people are authors and they just want the book, and that's either way, that's just fine. And I think that's it. I think those are the things that you need to ask yourself. Those are like the top 10 things. How many books should you initially have published without having so much overstock? I don't know what that means. I mean, it's not like it used to be really with self-publishing, where you would have to buy like tons and tons of books and they'd all be sitting out in your garage, and it's really not like that anymore, especially if well, it's not like that with a lot of places, but I know, like, especially with Amazon CreateSpace, which is CreateSpace is Amazon's answer to self-publishing. And with CreateSpace, hey, Mr. Kumar, how are you? With CreateSpace, I mean, you can order 2 books or you can order 2,000. So if you have like a book signing coming up, I normally order just for that. Since I've published, I've published collaborations, so like maybe there are 20 authors in each book, and because of their, them giving me their story, I've given them a certain number of books. So a market for books written about expressions, like facial expressions or like sayings. And so I've come home and there've been 1,000 books sitting on my front porch. So you could order as little or as many. And so that's what I love about self-publishing now. It's no longer that you have to have tons of books. I like having tons and tons of books just because I sell books so fast. But you don't have to really worry about that anymore. Yes, Anthony, well, that's not today. I teach people how to write books, but I'm not doing it today. Today, we're just talking about some questions to ask yourself before you start writing the book. And so, like I said, I just wanted to pop on and say, hey, I've been talking about books all day, and I'm going to Chicago to talk about, well, not necessarily about books, but it is difficult. Robert, you can't just, it is difficult because... can I sell your book? I can teach you how to sell your book. I mean, that's what I specialize in, marketing and media plans that sell books. Books of spoken words or poetry. Oh, no. No, you know what? I don't think it's difficult. Like I said, I think the most difficult thing about spoken word or poetry is selling the book, because that's a really specialized market. So I think that a lot of poets that I've dealt with, I'll just talk about the ones I've dealt with, they're just artists. They're like so into their art that, they forget about having to actually sell the book. And so when it's time to sell the book, they haven't done any work on that. So you have to be focused on both. So I think that obviously you're talented at it, and I think you'll write a great book or put together a great book or a compilation of your work. But you have to focus on selling it, and you have to focus on building that audience before the book is done. So the thing about unauthorized biographies is you really have to talk to people that are going to tell you the truth about the situation, it's hard. It's hard because you have to get the story, and a lot of times when it's an unauthorized biography, the person who it's about is not participating, and if they're a celebrity, then they get everybody not to participate, because usually for the people closest to them, they're supporting them. So it's a lot. It's a lot to go through, and so it's a lot. It's a lot. So I wish you the best of luck with that, though. It did become a seminar, didn't it, Robert? That's why I'm going to go now. So I wish you guys the best. I really do. I'm doing, actually, I'm offering you a free gift, and then I'm doing a book seminar. Okay, I got a call. I'm doing a book training on October 12th. So if you actually click the link, blessmenikki.com, which is in the post, then I will send you a free gift, and then you can also register for the book training. And the book training that I'm going to be doing is how you can become an Amazon bestseller. So I'm actually going to take you through the steps that I take all of my clients. My company has created over almost 500 best-selling authors now. And so I'm really proud of that. We've really perfected the technique, so I'm going to be training on that Thursday, October 12th, but you have to be registered for it. I'm not doing it like on Facebook Live or anything like that. So you got to be registered, so go get registered. Thank you, Robert. Thank you for all the hearts and the shares. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys later. Tomorrow's Friday. Yay! You guys have a good one.